Good morning, everybody, and happy Saturday. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to this live Saturday stick mobility class. I am Coach Ray. Hope everybody's having a good and nice Saturday so far. So for today's class, we are going to need access to 2 long sticks. Also, I have a pad for us to kneel on. I have a squat rack over here to my right. This is just going to act as a wall for me today. And so what we're going to focus on is we're going to actually do a single leg glute bridge drill for the strength training aspect. We're also going to go into a hip hinging drill where we're actually driving the sticks forward. So that one's going to be a little bit different in terms of the feel for it, because you are going to need to resist tipping forward, or if actually more so you falling backward. So that one's going to be fun. We're going to go through a full body cool down, warm up. Then the cool down, we're going to focus on stretching the hamstring, stretching the glute, stretching the low back. So we're going to get into a QL stretch as well. Sounds good? All right. So for the first warm up, I do want to make it slightly dynamic. And so I'm only going to need one stick here. I'm going to take a step back, not too far. Now the main thing as we're going through this first drill is we're really going to stretch out the hip flexor and the anterior portion of the hip here. If you're tight, you're probably going to get some of the obliques to stretch here as well. So I'm going to have the stick in my left hand. I want my hand to be above the sticker, and I'm going to have my right hand gripping at the end of the stick. So if I were to bring the stick like this, it's a little bit wider than shoulder width here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to step back with my right foot, and I'm going to make sure that my right heel is up nice and high, and then I'm going to plant the bottom of the stick back behind me, and as I do that, squeeze my right glute, and I'm going to kind of do a bow and arrow leaning back. Good. Come back in and ease off. So you can adjust your hand as you need to. So step back with the right, plant down, go back, back in, ease off, step back, plant the bottom of the stick down, drive that stick out, squeeze that glute, ease off. Let's go 2 more. Step back, plant the bottom of the stick down, drive it back. Good, come back forward. Let's go 1 more time. Step back, plant the bottom of the stick down, squeeze that glute, drive that hip forward. Good, and ease off. Excellent, we're gonna switch sides. So, squeezing that glute, again, locks that hip into extension, but it really shifts all that focus into the anterior tissues here. So we're gonna do that same thing. Hands are roughly about in the same position here. Feet about roughly hip width apart, toes pointed forward. So now I'm gonna step back with my left foot. It doesn't need to be a huge step. Plant the bottom of the stick down, drive out. Hold for a second, come back in, ease off. Good. Step back, put the bottom of the stick down, drive. Just holding for a second here, not too long. Back in. Let's go again. Step back, plant, extend out. Excellent. Come back in. Let's go 2 more. Step back, plant, extend, back in. Let's go 1 more time. Step back, plant, squeeze a glute, back in, and ease off. Excellent. Now I'm going to take the pad, so we're going to go to a tall kneeling position. And actually, I'll show this drill from the side. This is going to work on thoracic rotation. And so I'm going to be in a tall kneeling position here. Now I'm going to start here, but we're actually going to gradually start to sit back on the heels, or going our butt towards our heels, to further increase that thoracic rotation here. So if I have the stick on my shoulder, my right shoulder here, because my right hand's going to be up, I'm starting with that side, I want the bottom of the stick to be about 2 feet in front of me. So notice the angle. Now my right hand's going to be up roughly like above the head, not too high. We're not trying to grip here. We're trying to grip here. Because remember, we're sitting back. Now from this position, what I'm gonna do, having my right hand up high, I'm gonna sink my hips back, right? So I'm getting a stretch in that T-spine here, also getting a stretch in that shoulder. So I'm kind of almost hanging a little bit. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna reach down with my left hand with my thumb facing down towards the floor and bring the stick down towards my rib cage, sitting my hips back even further. And now I'm gonna pull the stick apart. Only about 20 to 30% tension. Ease off. I'm gonna bring the stick back up to an overhead position as I stand up here to a tall kneeling position again. So I'm gonna do that 2 more times. You can adjust the stick if you need to. From here, sink the hips back, reach down, grab the bottom of the stick, thumb facing down, bring it towards the rib cage, pull apart. Excellent. Ease off. Bring it back up overhead. Good. Come up. Let's go again. Sink those hips back. Reach down towards the bottom of the stick. Bring the stick down. Pull apart. 3, 2, 1. Back up. And ease off. I'm going to switch angles here. So now I'm going to face forward. So you should feel like that T-spine is opening up. If you're finding that you're having a hard time kind of sitting back, you don't have to sit back as far. That's okay. As long as you're creating that tension and getting that rotation, that's what we're really looking for here. So left hand is up. From here, same thing, sink those hips back. The good thing about this drill is we also get a stretch in the shoulders and the rib cage as well. Reach towards the bottom of the stick, thumb facing down, pull apart. Good. Come back up. Excellent. Let's go 2 more. Sink those hips back. Reach down towards the bottom. Pull apart. Good. Ease off. Bring the stick back up. Stand up here. 1 more time. Sink those hips back. Reach down towards the bottom. Pull apart. Excellent. Ease off. Bring the stick back up overhead. And relax. Perfect. Good. And now, I'm going to move the pad over to the side. We're going to do another rotational drill. And so for this one, it's going to be really important that we keep track of what our pelvis is doing. So we don't want excessive rotation in the pelvis. We want to make sure that it's as stable as we possibly can get it. So I'm going to take about roughly a shoulder width stance here. I'm actually going to take a step back a little bit. Shoulder width stance. I'm going to start by the stick coming to my right. So I want my right hand to be under my left hand here. So both hands are in front of my chest. From this position, I want to lightly, the bottom of the stick is going towards my left foot. So it's in front of the line of my big toe here, about a foot in front. From here, lightly drive the stick down and I'm going to hinge. And as I do that, I'm going to rotate the stick to the left. So I'm getting that rotation in that T-spine and mid-back, that thoracolumbar region. I'm going to let go with the left hand, and then I'm going to reach back behind me, driving that right stick forward and down into the floor. Place your left hand back on the stick, and then slowly come up. Excellent. Ease off. It's kind of a little bit of an extreme stretch, but let's go into it 1 more time, then we'll switch sides. So drive that stick down, nice and light, 20%. Bring the hands across to the left. Let go with that left hand, driving that right hand into the floor and forward. Reach back. Good. Place the left hand back on. And ease off. Let's go ahead and switch sides here. I'm going to do that same thing. So now, left hand is stacked under the right hand. Stick is in line with the big toe here. Lightly drive the stick down. Good. Hinge. Rotate the stick over to the right. Let go with the right hand. Drive that stick out and forward. 3, 2, 1. Place the hand back on. Ease off. Excellent. Let's go one more time here. Hinge. Keep driving that stick down nice and light. Bring the stick across the body. Drive the left hand down and across. Reach that right hand back. 3, 2, 1. Place the right hand back down. Slowly come out and relax. Excellent. So now I'm going to take the second stick. Now we're going to get into pelvic tilts. Just want to keep it simple. Want to kind of go through these a little quickly here. So I'm going to have both feet maybe a slight bit wider than shoulder width. I want to get into that horse stance. So make sure that you're dropping the knees down a little bit, but you're keeping a nice, good, tall posture. You shouldn't have a forward lean. You shouldn't be all the way back like this, right? You want to keep everything stacked nice and tall. So both sticks are in line with my big toes here, about 6 to 8 inches in front. Hands are about roughly shoulder height. Get into the horse stance. Drive the sticks down, about 30% tension. You're going to do a posterior tilt, so you're going to squeeze your glutes, and you're going to act as if your hips are a bucket, tipping water out the back. Then I'm going to do an anterior tilt, so I'm going to tilt my pelvis the opposite way, tilting my waistline forward effectively here, as if I'm tipping water out the front. Now do a posterior tilt, squeeze the glutes. Make sure you're driving those knees out. That's extremely important here. Good. Anterior tilt. Keep driving those sticks down. Do not lose that tension. Hold on to it. Posterior tilt. Excellent. Anterior tilt. Good. Posterior tilt. Glutes should be feeling pretty good. Hips should be feeling pretty good here. Let's go anterior tilt one more time. Excellent. Back to center and ease off. I do want to get into one more drill before we actually move forward. And this is actually going to kind of be a little bit of a strength drill because we're going for stabilization here as much as we can. We're going to take the pad. And so from here, I'm going to go down to one knee. I'm going to start with my left knee forward first. Now, what we're looking to work here is external rotation and hip abduction. So we're looking to work 2 movements. So I'm going to take the stick. I'm actually going to move back a little bit more here. I'm going to have my left leg forward. The bottom of the stick is in line with my center line here. Sticks out to the side. I want to make sure that I'm driving the stick down into the floor from this position. My hand is at shoulder height here. Now what I want to do, I want to drive this knee, my left knee, outwards into the stick. So I'm going to create tension. You'll see that there's a bit of a bow in the stick here. I want to maintain that tension the entire time. Do not lose it. And I'm going to hover my back leg off the floor, really driving that left knee out. Make sure all 5 toes are in contact with the floor. 3, 2, 1. Back down and ease off. Let's go again. So we're getting the glutes and the external rotators of the hip to fire here. Rotate the stick, drive the stick down, create that tension against the stick with the left leg, hover the back leg off the floor, hold that position. Hip is facing forward here. Should feel that left glute working. 3, 2, 1. Back down and ease off. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So we get to that same position. Right leg, right foot is out. Hands about shoulder height. Drive the stick into the ground here. Drive that right leg out into the stick. Create that tension. Hover the back knee. Feel that right glute firing. 3, 2, 1. Good. Ease off and relax. So you can see for me, my right side is actually harder to do. This is a really good way to kind of expose where is that actual weakness on what side, right? So let's go again. Drive the stick down. Create that tension against the stick. Try to keep that tension best you can. Hover that back leg. Whoa. Hold. 3, 2, 1. And ease off and relax. Good, good, good. Now we're going to get into single leg hip bridge. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to focus on driving the stick going upwards. And so the important part of this is that as we do this, again, we're maintaining that tension by driving up and also focusing on what the leg and hips are doing. So if you're finding that your pelvis is going into an anterior tilt, you need to really focus on getting into that posterior tilt so we can further get into the glute activation here. So I'm going to go to the floor, I'm going to lay on my back. Now I'm going to have the stick here into the corner. This acts as a wall. So the stick should be right in line with your center line here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to have both feet together. I want to start there. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to lift one foot off the floor. So from this position, I want to keep a posterior tilt. I'm going to have both hands up. Now from this position, keeping this knee flexed and this hip flex, I want to keep it there the entire time. Drive the stick upwards. Right, so I'm driving the stick into the corner of the wall here. Now from this position, make sure you're driving your right heel into the floor, and I'm going to bridge up, keeping a posterior tilt. Should feel that right glute firing. 3, 2, 1. Back down. And ease off. So again, keep that posterior tilt. Let's go again. Drive that stick up into the wall. Let's go 60%. Tuck the pelvis. Drive that heel into the floor. Bridge up. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Down. Ease off. Let's go one more time here. Let's go 70%. Increase that tension just a little bit. Drive. Tuck the pelvis. Keep that low back flat. Push off the heel. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Back down. And ease off. Let's go into switch sides. One side might feel easier than the other. That's going to be a little normal. So remember where your asymmetries are. So drive the stick up. 60%. Bring the right foot off the floor. Drive that left heel into the floor. Squeeze that glute. Drive that heel into the floor here. 3, 2, 1. Back down. And ease off. You shouldn't feel your hamstring kick in if you need to adjust your foot going outwards. Let's go again. Drive the stick up. 60%. Push. Tuck the pelvis. Drive that heel into the floor. Bridge up. 3, 2, 1. Good. Ease off. And relax. Let's go one more time here. 70%. Drive the stick up. Tuck the pelvis. Keep that pelvic tuck. Posterior tilt. Drive up. 3, 2, 1. Back down. And ease off. Excellent. Okay. So now we're gonna take the second stick, and this is where we're gonna have that forward intent as we go into another go into a hip hinge here. Not another hip hinge, but a hinge. So from here, I want to have the sticks roughly parallel to the floor. It's going to be important because again, we're going to hinge here. So the level of the sticks are going to change, at least on your end. So from here, make sure the sticks are planted, make sure it's secure. I have my hands at the end of the sticks here. Now where my body is going to line up, or where my feet are going to line up, I want my hands to be roughly about where my hips are. This keeps it more true to more like a hex bar, like a hex bar deadlift here. So from here, feet are roughly about shoulder width. I do want my toes pointed forward. First thing, arms straight, drive the sticks forward. You're gonna feel a bit of a shift going more towards the ball and toes of the ball of your foot. And that's okay. Again, we're trying to make sure we maintain keeping a nice good position. From here, driving the sticks forward about 60%, I'm gonna start to hinge, nice and slow. Those hips and glutes, squeeze at the top, and ease off. Okay, so good. Let's go 4 more repetitions here. Drive the sticks forward. Let's go 70%. Hinge, drive. Drive those hips back. Keep as neutral of a spine as you can. Knees out. Hold. Up. Squeeze. Ease off. Good. We got 3 more reps here. Remember, you can always adjust the height of the sticks if you have to. Drive the sticks forward, 70%, arms straight, hinge, nice and slow. You're gonna feel those erectors working, hamstrings. 3, 2, 1, up. Drive those hips forward, squeeze, ease off. Let's go 2 more here, folks. Let's up that intensity a little bit more. Let's go 90%. Drive the sticks forward. Down, nice and slow. Breathe. 3, 2, 1, up. And ease off. One more time. Let's keep it at 90%, submaximal. Drive forward, keep those arms straight, hinge, drive those hips back, back. 3, 2, 1, stand up, squeeze, and ease off. Whew. Good. So, really good way to groove that hip hinging pattern, right? But it kind of teaches how to control the shift in load. So if you have a hard time kind of more so getting into knowing where to shift your weight, especially when you're doing hinge type of patterns, either it's a kettlebell swing or deadlift, this is one of the ways you can do it, because you can do it with an anterior push or a posterior push, right? How's it going? So now I just want to get into one last drill. This is going to go through an activation to really stretch out the hip flexor. So somewhat similar to what we did at the beginning with the dynamic warm-up. And so I'm going to stay in a standing position here. And again, the main thing is we're focusing on splitting the hips. So I want to create distance, right? Create as much distance as you comfortably can. Because again, we're going to tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glute, then drive that heel down. So we're going to really get as much tension as we can going down that back line here. So I'm going to have my left foot forward and my right leg is back. And I want to make sure I load that front leg. So my left ankle or left knee is stacked over my left ankle here. Now my hand's going to be about roughly shoulder height. And notice how my back knee is bent. First thing I want to do, make sure you're up nice and tall, right? Not leaning forward, not leaning back, nice and tall. Now from here, I want to drive those sticks down 60%. First thing, tuck the pelvis. So a posterior pelvic tilt, you are going to feel a stretch in your anterior hip muscles here. Now from this position, I really want to drive that right heel back towards the floor, squeezing that glute. 3, 2, 1, ease off. We're gonna switch sides. So it's pretty intense. That contraction or how much drive you're getting, driving that back heel to the floor, it needs to be intense. You're trying to get it to touch without actually hurting yourself, please. All right, so always remember, safety first, safety first. So same thing, right leg is gonna be forward. I'm gonna load that front leg here. Again, nice, good, tall posture, good positioning. Drive the sticks down 60%, right? Tuck the pelvis, that's the first part. Now from here, drive that left heel back towards the floor. Squeeze the glute. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Nice and slow. Let's switch sides. We're gonna go one more rep per side here. So the reason why I like this one, it allows you to actively open up those tissues, right? If you're super tight, truth be told, I'm pretty sore, it's gonna help open up those tissues and kind of prep you for things that are kind of unilateral. So left leg is loaded, nice good position, good tall posture, back knees bent, tuck the pelvis first, keep driving those sticks into the floor, 60%. Drive that right heel back, try to straighten that knee. Feel that glute fire. It should be contracting hard. 3, 2, 1, ease off. Excellent. Switch sides. So I'll turn to this side now. Also, if you're finding that you're not able to get a good posterior pelvic tilt, move your foot in a little closer, right? Same thing. Nice good setup, nice tall posture, back knee is bent. Load that front leg here. Drive the sticks down, 60%, push. Good. Tuck the pelvis. Drive that left heel back. Keep that pelvis tucked. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. And relax. Good. All right. So that is a good way to finish off the strength training part. Now we're going to start getting into the stretching aspect. So we are going to work with stretching out those posterior tissues. So we're going to start off with the wide stance. You're going to get the adductors here a little bit as well, but that's okay. So take a step back here. I'm actually going to have to show this one from the side because I'm going to be moving my hips back and forth, which is going to increase the amount of stretch that's going to be there. So I'm going to take a wide stance. When I say wide, I mean pretty wide, right? That's what we want to go for. And so we'll take a wide stance. Wide is whatever's comfortable here, folks, all right? Don't go too far. If you're getting a pinch in your hips, move your stance in a little closer so you're not getting that same pain or sensation. Now, I'm gonna have both sticks on my shoulders here, and they're angled out in front. So you'll see it's at a pretty good angle. I'm gonna have my hands on top of the sticks. This is just gonna be a guide for me to hinge back, but also what I'm aiming towards. So I'm aiming towards the bottoms of the sticks here. So from this position, I'm going to sink my hips back, guiding my hands down the sticks, reaching towards the bottoms. If you get a light bit of flexion in your spine, that's okay. A little bit's fine. You just don't want to be here. If you're really flexed over, move up a little bit more. So from here, reaching towards the bottom, now I'm going to start to tension the hamstrings here. I'm going to sink my hips back, really reaching. You're going to notice an increase on a hamstring stretch. Make sure you're breathing. To ease off that stretch, I'm going to rock my hips forward, sink them back again. Breathe. Excellent. Rock the hips forward, ease off that tension a little. Sink the hips back. Let's go 2 more. Hips forward. Reach, sink back. Slight bend to the knees. Hips forward. Last one. Sink hips back. Three, 2, 1. Back to neutral. I'm going to place my hands on the sticks. Slowly come up. Excellent. Wiggle those feet in. There we go. Now I want to get into stretching out the hip, more so the glute specifically. So we're actually going to be in a 90-90 position here. Going to place one stick down. I only need one stick for this one. So I'm going to start with my left leg forward. So you don't actually have to, if you can get to a 90-90 position, get to a 90-90 position. You don't have to be there, particularly with the front leg, because this is the main one that we're stretching. So if you need to, don't be afraid to move that foot or angle that knee a little bit more in a flexion in order to make it a little bit more comfortable for you. We need to make sure that we can drive this knee into the floor here. So I'm going to get to this 90-90 position. I'm going to have the stick in my right hand. So my left leg is forward, the left hip is forward, right hip back. Stick is in my right hand. I have the stick in alignment with my about mid-thigh of my right leg, or more so my ankle with my left leg here. I'm using my left hand to prop myself up. Now from this position, I want to drive that front knee into the floor, about 30% here, 20 to 30%. And I want to drive the stick down lightly, and I have my hand at roughly about face height. Now I'm going to hinge forward, still driving that left knee into the ground, and I'm going to get a stretch in those in the hip capsule tissues. Try to get your torso as close to your knee as possible. Breathe. Going to come back up and ease off. We're not driving that right leg down. If anything, it's more so relaxing here. So from here, drive that front leg into the floor. Again, 20-30% tension. Now hinge, reaching forward. Getting a nice good active stretch here. 3, 2, 1, back up. And ease off. Now we're going to progress it a tiny bit more. I'm going to bring this right leg back more. And I'm going to kind of sit up on this front leg. So now I'm in more of a pigeon stretch. Now from this position, the stick is still forward. I want to drive that left knee into the ground, and I'm going to hinge and almost kind of drive my left hip down and back. Use your left hand to prop you in a nice good position here that allows you to get that stretch. Good, breathe, 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Excellent, let's go ahead and switch sides here. So we're gonna go through those same exact progressions. So left hand is on a stick, using that right hand to prop yourself up. Drive that right leg into the floor, hinge. Good, make sure you're breathing here. Remember, breathing is important. It is a key to life. Back up and ease off. Good. Gonna go again. Drive that front leg forward, hinge. Breathe, breathe. 3, 2, 1. Good. Ease off. Excellent. Now we're gonna do that same thing. So I'm gonna progress it, get more into that pigeon. Drive that front leg down, the knee down, hinge. Three, 2, 1. Good. Ease off and relax. Excellent. So I'm going to stand up. Now this is really where I want to kind of stretch out that QL. So we are going to do this from a standing position. We're going to cross one leg behind the other. So the leg is crossed behind the other. That's the side we're going to be stretching. So we're trying to effectively elongate this side as much as we can here as we go into a reach. So we are going to be doing a reaching drill. If you need to, you can do this against the wall just so you actually don't tip over, because with this drill, it's possible for that to happen. And so I'm going to have the stick on my right shoulder. I'm going to step my right foot behind my left. Sorry, getting my sides mixed up, folks. So I'm going to bring my right foot behind my left. And again, we're elongating all these tissues here. Now, from this position, I'm really reaching down with my right arm, right? Reaching down my right hand. So the bottom of the stick is about roughly a foot in front of the line of the toes of my left foot here, going out to the side. I want to keep the stick in contact with this shoulder here, just so I kind of have a little bit of a cue. Right hand's going to be on the stick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend down, reaching towards the bottom of the stick. Let your back round. You're not trying to keep a neutral spine, but you want to let your back round. Reach towards the bottom of the stick here. You're going to get a nice good stretch in that QL and low back region. Breathe. Slowly come up. Excellent. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So now I'll turn to the side here. Right foot is forward. Left foot is crossed behind. Okay. Now, sticks on my left shoulder here. Right hand's at the bottom. With the left hand, same thing. You want to reach toward the bottom of the stick. There we go. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Good. Come back up. Switch sides. Going to turn back forward again. Right foot comes behind. Stick comes across. Left hand on the stick. Reach down and kind of drive the right hip away. Now from here, we can further increase that stretch by rotating to our left, or basically trying to get our left shoulder more towards our left hip. So you will elongate that side quite a bit more. Good. Ease off, come up, and relax. Now switch sides one last time. Left foot comes across. Sticks on the left. Right hand on the stick. Reach. Good. Bring that right shoulder to that right hip. Increase that stretch a little bit more. 3, 2, 1. Ease off. Excellent. Good. Now we're going to get into a little bit of a bow and arrow variation. Just want to finish off with a good note and on one of my favorite stretches here. So we're going to do 2 different variations. We're going to do a standard variation, and then we're going to do a variation where we're actually working on getting a little bit of rotation in the T-spine. So let's go with the standard. First, I'm going to have my feet roughly about shoulder width apart. Feet are pointed forward. Always remember your feet are pointed forward here. So the stick is about a few inches from the outside of the midline of my feet here. If you need to, you can always start out a little wider so you have a little less tension. If you want more tension, which creates more of a stretch, have it closer towards your foot. My left hand is going to be roughly about waist height. Right hand is going to be up towards the sky. Reach over with the thumb facing down towards the floor. Now from here, I want to drive the stick down first, about 10 to 20%, nothing too significant. And I want to drive the hips away from the stick. So I'm already getting that lateral bend. If this is a big stretch, keep it here. Now I'm going to increase the stretch by driving the stick away. Now I'm going to ease off, nice and slow. Good. Let's go ahead and rotate that stick a bit one more time. So we're going to go through those same progressions. Drive the stick down, 10 to 20%. Drive those hips away. Excellent. Drive those hands out. 3, 2, 1. Good. Ease off. Excellent. All right, let's go ahead and switch sides. So same setup. Left hand's on the stick, right hand's on the stick. Left hand comes up and over. Thumb facing down towards the floor. Drive the stick down, 10 to 20%. Drive the hips away. Drive those hands out. Good. Ease off. Nice and slow. Excellent. Rotate that stick a bit. Drive the stick down. Drive those hips away. Extend those hands out. 3, 2, 1. Ease off. Excellent. Good. Last one before I go. Now we're going to do a different type of bow and arrow. So I'm going to have the stick on the inside of my left foot here. My left hand is going to be roughly about face level. So we are going to hinge. So again, we're going to get a little bit of rotation here. So from here, I want to lightly drive the stick down. Good. I'm going to hinge, come down to this position. With this right hand, I'm going to grab right about where the sticker is. And I'm going to drive that hand out. So extend my right hand out and pull my left hand back. Good. I'm going to ease off. You're going to get some rotation here. You're going to feel those shoulder blades. Drive out again. Breathe. Ease off. Stand back up. And relax. I'm going to show from the side. Sticks on the inside of the right foot, hands about face height. I'm going to hinge back. Good. Get a nice good hang. Stick stays in alignment with the rib cage. Left hand's on the stick right about where the sticker is, or right about where your rib cage is. Extend that left hand out, pull that right hand back. Good. Ease off. Stay here. Let's go one more time, folks. Drive that left hand out, pull that right hand back. 3, 2, 1. Back in. Stand up. Excellent. And that My friends, concludes today's stick mobility class. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Hope everybody had a good class today. And as usual, stay safe out there. Happy Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see y'all next time.